to protest the Trump administration's aggressive immigration operations. Look at these folks. At the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport, as many as 100 clergy members were arrested after urging airlines not to cooperate with ICE. There were protests in Maine as well, where ICE is ramping up a new immigration operation. Here's Maine Governor Janet Mills, who'll join us in a moment.
They have warrants to come here and arrest people, and that should be public record. You know, in America, we don't believe in secret arrests or secret police.
And breaking moments ago, MS Now is reporting that Tracy Mergen, an FBI supervisor in the Minneapolis field office, resigned in frustration over the handling by Justice Department leadership of the Renee Good shooting investigation. This is according to two sources. Mergen is said to have been frustrated as well with the Trump administration's decision to treat protesters in Minnesota as possible domestic terrorists and conduct mass arrests of people who are peacefully protesting. This, as two images have galvanized many of the protesters. One of the 5-year-old Liam Ramos, who was detained along with his father after returning from school, a 5-year-old. And two, of an ICE officer spraying a chemical irritant directly into the face of a protester who was already pinned to the ground by other agents. MS Now reporter Alex Tabbitt joins us live from Minneapolis. Alex, take us through, I know you've been out all day long, take us through what you have been seeing. What is the latest on the ground there?
Well, there's been a complete evolution of the city of Minneapolis during this day, Simone, and that's because it started off with an economic blackout, which means that small businesses were shut down, people stopped going to school, people stopped attending stores, trying to send a message to the Trump administration: ICE, get out of our city. So this morning was the quietest I have ever seen the city of Minneapolis in the last 6 or so weeks that I've been traveling here. Then this afternoon, something incredible and kind of insane happened, Simone. It was negative 11 degrees at one point, and yet thousands of people took to the streets to protest what the Trump administration is doing here. I want you to hear from one of those protesters, Wayne Nilles, about why he was out here today.
I know a lot of people in jeopardy of being found and deported as well, and it's close to me. And even if it wasn't, this is unconscionable. And to see this little boy having to face this, I don't care what the family is about. He does not deserve that, nor that family.
And Simone, they say that the people of Minnesota are descendants of Vikings. I have to say they are some of the toughest people I've ever seen. Tough not just because they're battling frigid frostbite temperature to go to these protests, but also think about what they've been through in the last 6 weeks. It started with the president calling the Somali diaspora, some 81,000 strong, garbage. Then the president sent ICE agents. Then we saw Renee Good shot and killed. Then even more ICE agents. Now 3,000 or so federal agents on the ground. And of course, this last week, a 5-year-old boy detained by ICE. This community has been through so much, and yet through it all, they continue hitting the streets to protest, and they continue to drive around in their cars, whistles around their necks, doing the very same work that Renee Good did when she was shot and killed, to try to keep their community members that are undocumented and the community members of color who are being racially profiled right now safe. Simone?
Alex, Michael Steele here. What's been the response by ICE and the officials of this administration in response to what you're reporting and seeing right there on the ground? When it's minus 11 and thousands of people are on the street, you know there's something going on there. How has ICE taken all of this in, particularly when they see images of their behavior being reflected back to them?
Well, Michael, it's not just ICE, it's also Border Patrol. And I will say today is a unique day in Minneapolis for me because it is the only day where tear gas and pepper spray has not filled my nostrils. I mean, the tactics that these federal agents are using once they get surrounded by these community members, they are aggressive to say the least. There is an image which I encourage our viewers to go check out at home. It was taken from a Minnesota Star Tribune photographer, and it shows a Border Patrol agent putting a chemical irritant directly in the eyes of a protester. And that's just some of the kind of aggressive, violent behavior that we've been seeing from these federal agents here on the ground.